Dude, speaking of government overreach,
Oh boy.
Rip to Peanut the squirrel.
Oh, okay. That explains. Okay, that's what you guys were talking about.
Rip to Peanut the squirrel. Can you imagine a world where somebody in Texas makes a phone call to a police station in New York, and then that police station takes it seriously and then puts a SWAT team together, has a morning brief. All right, everybody, welcome. Sit down. Got a good one for you today.
It is a South Park skit.
It is.
We got to get the squirrel. Like you can see the board, right? Their planning board. There's the picture of the squirrel. They're like, he could be armed and dangerous. Okay.
So you know what's? I thought about this last.
He's gotten all of his shots.
There's that like one Steam game that's getting real popular right now called Squirrel with a Gun.
Bro.
It's almost like that. This was a foreshadowing to come.
They took it seriously. I can't fathom what possessed the person in Texas to make the phone call. Right? Like, this YouTube channel has an adorable squirrel and raccoon, and I hate that.
People aren't happy unless they're complaining.
I hate that. So then they're going to make up some bullshit that they got bit by the squirrel. So they were in Texas, squirrels in New York. Somehow they got bit by it.
But
okay?
if they used a VPN, they could have spoofed their phone number to say they were in New York.
Sure, right? Then the person on the other end in New York was like, you know what? There's a lot of crime happening today, but this is the serious one. This is the one I'm going to take seriously.
This
you know,
is
like
the hell.
a squirrel, you say, and a raccoon?
I'm just seeing
It could
the
have
entire.
rabies.
I'm seeing the entire South Park episode in my head, like the whole plot.
Has
Like,
South Park done an episode on this yet?
oh,
Just
they
happened.
better.
It just happened.
They better do it.
Yeah. And then the person who took the phone call was just like, "I'm pushing this one straight up, ma'am. Don't you worry. We're gonna take care of this Peanut and his accomplice raccoon. Unfortunately,
Ricky the raccoon.
Ricky or whatever the fuck.
He gets off the phone. Code red. Red.
There's a button with a big peanut on it, and he just smashes it. And like what's the meme with the FBI like kicking the doors in, coming down through the ceiling and everything? Like, and but so it gets to that point, right?
No,
And-
Peanut knew something about playing and him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to believe both of those.
Yeah.
This is why the live stream's cool. If you see the live stream podcast,
Yeah,
you get to hear the censored stuff.
So then right there, right, the person that took that 911 call or whatever the fuck, like
It had to be a 911 call.
it could have stopped there, right? It could have stopped at this person just not being fucking insane. But then they made the phone call. So then the person was just like, yes, ma'am. Yep. Like anybody else would be like, a raccoon in New York bit you and you're in Texas. Okay, man, we'll get right on that. And then hang up the phone and be like, I don't know, they're crazy. But no, this person again took it seriously.
So did they claim that Peanut bit or that the raccoon bit?
Something. But the geographical difference would suggest otherwise.
Again, devil's advocate, use a VPN, spoof the phone number. You can make it look like it came from New York.
Hey, could have.
Yep.
Right? But then how would everybody know that the person was in Texas that called? Also,
Okay, you're right.
Shame on
Yeah.
you. It had to have been Austin. Texas. But
Yeah.
so it could have stopped there. Then that person passed it up to their shift
Probably shift supervisor.
supervisor,
Yeah.
right? And then they were like, all right, I just got this call. Sounds pretty serious. Squirrel in New York and a raccoon bit somebody in Texas. We better get on that. And then that person was like, you know what? I'm going to take you seriously. And you know what? We don't just need to send one animal control officer over there. Let's get the SWAT team on this.
Yeah.
And then they sat down in a briefing room with a whiteboard and they came up with a plan over a fucking squirrel and a raccoon that's on YouTube that's clearly domesticated. Like, what world do we live in?
It's heartbreaking to see the owner crying about it.
They had him outside.
They
for
got
like
a
6
grown
hours.
ass. Look, the bond this man must have had with this squirrel to be crying like that on national television over a squirrel. It's like he lost his fucking kid.
Dude, he wore cute little hats.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
This is American culture as of the last decade, okay? One of the best-selling movies that came out recently is a movie about an assassin who tried to quit and then went on a fucking killing spree because they killed his dog.
Yeah.
We love our pets. We love our animals. That is the we don't eat our animals. We don't fucking auction them off. We don't want to we love our animals. We would have more variety of animals as pets if we could. If we could tame a bear and make it our pet and love him forever and cuddle with him, we would, except they'd kill us, right? So we like that man, his bond with his squirrel. It must have been like Ash and Pikachu. Okay? Imagine watching Pokemon and you think the show's going somewhere, but then the FBI comes in and fucking kills Pikachu and they put down Charmander too. Okay?
Yeah. They're just like, hey, you got a permit for this Pikachu over here? Like, oh yeah, I lost it. Oh, that's unfortunate. I need you to step outside your house for about 6 hours to ignore all the screams that you're going to hear from inside. Okay?
Like these guys make Michael Vick look like a fucking saint.
Right? Like, I can't fathom that nobody in that chain of communication, all the way up to like the guys going in the door, nobody was like, I have a question. Is this a really good use of taxpayer funds right now? It's a fucking squirrel and a raccoon.
They're live streaming their chest cams, right? It's like a whole. Yeah. It was like them going after the leader of ISIS. Like, the amount of like it was just all broadcasted, right?
Nobody was like, wait a minute.
They're all walking in like they're all like they're
lasers.
They're checking every corner. They're checking the ceilings. Right? Squirrel runs across. I can't make squirrel noises, but they're just like, oh god,
they're in the trees. I cannot believe that not one person in that chain was just like, guys, this. Like, what are we doing?
They're in their armored SWAT vehicle on the way, the way to the target house, right? And they're in there shaking. They're vomiting. They're so nervous for this operation.
It's like the landing craft on D-Day.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, are you kidding me? Like, how have we fallen this far? Like, how have we fallen this far? Like, literally, one animal control officer could. If the squirrel, which is native to New York, and raccoon, which are native to New York.
I literally saw a squirrel outside.
Yeah, like if that's really that big a problem, one animal control officer knock on the door, sir, I think you have a squirrel here, whatever the fuck, and then he checks them out, and maybe they confiscate the squirrel and the raccoon, and they test them to make sure they don't have diseases or whatever, like, and then they just come up with a plan, right? Like, hey, man, within, I don't know, did he live in New York City?
I think so.
Okay, so maybe within the 5 boroughs, you can't have a fucking squirrel and a raccoon, and so you need to either relocate them or we're going to euthanize them. At the very least, that gives a guy,
time.
It only costs one state employee or county or city employee 2 hours of his time, and the taxpayers 2 hours of his time. And B, you don't look like a giant wiener head on the freaking internet. You know,
what would be the consequences if you just went and found a wild squirrel just to kill it? Would there be legal? Like,
well, my question is,
because there's like environmental laws about
a hunting license.
Huh?
Did those SWAT officers have a hunting license?
Yeah, it's called their badge.
Yeah, it's called I am the law.
I think squirrels, are unrestricted. You can just kill the hell out of them.
I do have a theory, and I think my theory is the correct one. When Harambe got killed, it fucked up.
Thinks this.
It fucked up the timeline.
Yeah,
and then when Peanut got killed, it corrected the timeline.
Yeah, but what about the raccoon? What is the raccoon's name?
Nobody cares about the raccoon.
I know, but he was a victim too.
Yeah,
he's just a bystander. He was probably sitting there eating on some dog food, and they were just like, him too, pow. He's like,
yeah.
Maybe the raccoon framed the squirrel.
I was just about to say that, actually, because why don't we hear about the raccoon? Maybe the raccoon's the one that made the phone call.
This is not what I would have expected.
The call's coming from inside the house.
It's like jealousy. It's like a classic Cain and Abel story. The squirrel's getting all this attention on the internet. The raccoon's like, what about the raccoon's jealous of Peanut?
It was it.
So the raccoon's name?
The raccoon learns a southern accent and impersonates a Texas woman. A female Texan.
Fred the raccoon.
I don't know. I like Fred. I feel like Fred wouldn't do this. Fred would never betray Peanut.
Yeah.
Also, why did Peanut get a peanut name and Fred got like a human name?
Right.
Whatever. I still like Fred.
Maybe Fred can talk.
I can trust Fred.
What was the raccoon's name from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, crap.
Right?
It's like Sprocket or something.
It's Rocket.
Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, could have gone with Rocket.
That would have been cool.
Poor Fred. Poor Fred was just he was like taking cotton candy and dipping it in the water and just being amazed that it disappeared. You know how raccoons do? And then he's washing his hands, and then the FBI bursts in and he's like, not my business. And they were just like, come here. I'm not part of Peanut's gang. Bow.
Josh says she was a conservation person and called to have it taken to a sanctuary.
Yeah, how'd
I
that
would
work
love
out?
to know how that worked out for
Yeah,
him.
how'd that work out, you stupid?
It's Gav says, did you guys see how the police absolutely destroyed his house looking for the squirrel?
believe that.
Josh said definitely a vegan.
There was a fight in that fucking house, dude.
All I'm saying is
Shitsoft Tom says
look up
Fred
the game
Rocket.
Squirrel with a Gun and how the squirrel does a takedown of the enemies. It's hilarious.
Dude.
You're like your little squirrel character will like crawl all the way up the leg of the bad guy, come up to the top, snap his neck, do a backflip off, and then shoot him with a handgun from the bottom. It's hilarious. I
Sweeps
want
the
to go
leg.
play that game now.
There's like 4 officers dead because the squirrel ran up their legs and their buddies were like, ah! Just like shooting up. I got a man down.
It's insane. Like,
Oh my god.
it's a bad
my God.
precedent to be like, hey, we're
So
gonna-
okay, so conservation officer, right? So what the fuck was she doing with her time? Well, she was on the internet. That's what she
Yeah,
was doing.
it was a TikTok.
So does she go to every cute animal video and she's just like, "You're next," you know, like what
If
the
that's
fuck
her
was she
hill to
doing?
die on, sure.
Over a squirrel? Was this a special squirrel or was this just like
No,
a
it
regular
was a squirrel.
Do
tree
you know
squirrel?
what? Do you know what she said to the squirrel? She said, "I'm the government and I'm here to help.
yeah.
We're gonna help you, Peanut. You need to be taken to a conservation."
Because squirrels are endangered. Why? Okay.
Okay, one,
There's-
squirrels are not endangered.
No,
Two,
not at
if
all.
you watch any of the videos of Peanut, he looked like a very happy squirrel.